If you ask me, it seems like everyone you encounter these days is anxious, and they're more anxious than before. Now, I don't know if that has to do with the post-pandemic world that we currently live in, but I also feel that very few people stop to ask themselves the important questions. I'm talking about things beyond the surface reasons for anxiety. The bills, the deadlines, the constant notifications on your phone, but really the deeper forces behind why is this modern world so anxiety provoking? The truth is, chronic anxiety today is about more than just one thing. It's a collision course between our biology, our money and financial system, and modern life in general. So I'm Dr. Garrett Rossi. I'm a psychiatrist and creator at Strengths and Sneakers, and today we're breaking down the neuroscience, the financial stress, and the social chaos associated with chronic anxiety. And I'm going to try to explain why we're all feeling it all the time and why we're in fight or flight 24/7. Any discussion of anxiety in modern life has to talk about the brain's built-in alarm system. Now, you guys might know where I'm going with this already. We're going to be talking a little bit about the amygdala. And this is a part of the brain that acts as the alarm system to let us know that danger is being detected. It helps to release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which are going to help us perform when we need to fight or we need to run away. The problem is, modern life has this alarm system firing all day long. It never shuts off. It's firing too often, too intensely, and it's all due to things that are not lethal and not very dangerous. So those angry emails you have to respond to, the social rejection you suffer, those are the kind of things that keep the amygdala firing at all times. It's not possible to talk about a system that's always activated without talking about how the brain puts the brakes on when it needs to stop the amygdala from firing. Now that's going to come down to your prefrontal cortex. This is the logical control center of the brain. It's supposed to pump the brakes on that alarm to say you're not in danger, you're just stressed out. But the prefrontal cortex can get overwhelmed by modern cognitive threats. These are the things we talked about: the deadlines, the difficult job, the constant decisions you have to make all day long. And it can stop doing its job effectively. One of the most common psychosocial stressors that I encounter as a clinician is financial problems and financial insecurity. Now, these things are no longer episodic. They're always in the background of modern adulthood. We have declining pensions, unstable jobs, lower wages, and of course, debt. All of these things are going to keep that amygdala firing at a very high rate. Now, our debt economy, it turns survival into a subscription plan. You have a student loan payment, a car payment, and inflated housing costs. If you have one unexpected bill, you're in crisis mode. You might not be able to cover that $1,000 bill. And when we add to it consumerism, social comparison, and everything we see on Instagram and other social media platforms like vacations, cars, perfect homes, you've built the perfect cocktail for anxiety. And the message is always the same: you're not enough and you're behind. Imagine what kind of state that leaves you in. When we're talking about modern anxiety, we have to be thinking about social connection. And I think we've all underestimated how valuable social connection can be and how it's changed over the years. As humans, we're wired to have social connection, to be around people. But we've replaced that real community with a digital hyperconnection, that process of endlessly scrolling, comparing, and looking for happiness on digital platforms. We've lost all of our traditional anchors. We no longer spend time with extended family, in local communities, or have a shared identity. When we have to move for work and chase productivity, we get to call loneliness a form of independence. Meanwhile, you're bombarded constantly on these social platforms with negative news, constant notification, and choice overload. The attention economy is able to hijack those same brain circuits that are evolved to detect danger. And when everything feels like a threat, the nervous system stops discriminating and doesn't know the difference between a real danger and just the daily chaos of modern living. So what is the takeaway from all this information? Well, I think the first important factor is we need to understand this anxiety cycle. We need to understand the forces driving it, and we need to understand the biological reactions to it. The next step is to develop coping skills. We all have them and we all need to use them. Things like therapy, mindfulness, exercise, healthy diet. We need to do those things for ourselves and take our own degree of personal responsibility for helping us cope with this anxiety. But we also need to fix the broken system. It's that culture of overwork, financial difficulty, and isolation that is constantly causing our biology to go haywire. Anxiety is not necessarily our enemy. It's our brain's way of flagging something and saying, hey, this isn't right. So if you liked the video and you want to hear more about anxiety in the future, I'm Dr. Garrett Rossi. This is Shrinks and Sneakers. Stay curious, stay human.